What if the most terrifying part of Five Nights at Freddy's was never meant to exist at all? What if the deepest horror was unsee, hidden in lore books or secret mini-games, but in broken frames, misplaced textures, and moments where the game itself seems confused about reality? Because tonight, we're not just playing Five Nights at Freddy's, we're dissecting it, frame by frame, sound by sound, to uncover how glitches and anomalies accidentally created an entirely new layer of fear that millions of players felt but couldn't explain. And before we dive in, welcome to the channel, where we explore hidden horror, digital mysteries, and unsettling truths buried inside games you thought you understood. So, if you enjoy deep dives into psychological horror and dark game lore, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications, because videos like this take you beyond the surface. And now, let us start with a simple question. Have you ever experienced a moment in FNAF where something felt wrong? Not scary in a scripted way, but wrong in a way that made you pause. Because from the very first game, players reported strange visual behaviors, animatronics appearing in places they shouldn't, camera feeds flickering at odd moments, shadows lingering longer than expected. And instead of breaking immersion, these errors amplified it, because the setting of Freddy Fazbear's Pizza is already a decaying, haunted space. So when the game itself starts behaving unpredictably, it feels less like a bug and more like the building rejecting reality. And that's where accidental horror is born. Because glitches remove the safety net of expectation. You can't prepare for something that isn't designed. And when Freddy's face briefly overlays a camera feed, or Bonnie seems to slide unnaturally rather than walk, your brain doesn't process it as animation. It processes it as intrusion. And the genius here isn't intentional design. It's how perfectly these errors align with the story's themes of broken systems, lost control, and something trapped inside machinery. And players began to ask questions the game never directly answered, like why do the animatronics behave inconsistently? Why does the environment feel unstable? And could the glitches themselves be evidence that the world of FNAF is collapsing under the weight of whatever haunts it? Because in horror, unpredictability is everything, and glitches turn a controlled experience into a dangerous one, where even the rules of the game can be trusted. As players spent more time inside Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, the glitches became more unsettling. Not because they were frequent, but because they were rare and inconsistent visual anomalies, like animatronics clipping through doors, appearing closer than they should, or staring directly into the camera without explanation, began to feel less like technical mistakes and more like surveillance, as if the game itself was watching the player back. And these moments fueled a wave of fan theories suggesting that the animatronics weren't just broken robots, but vessels for something restless, something that didn't fully obey the game's logic. And audio glitches made this even worse, because sound is powerful in horror, and distorted noises, reversed audio fragments, and sudden silence where ambience should exist created an atmosphere of unease that no scripted jump scare could replicate. Players reported hearing whispers that didn't loop properly, laughter that cut off too sharply, and audio cues that triggered without cause. And while these were likely technical anomalies, the human brain fills in gaps with meaning. And in a universe where spirits and memory are central themes, those sounds became interpreted as echoes of trapped souls. And even performance issues played a role. Frame drops during intense moments caused animatronics to appear frozen or suddenly teleport positions, making encounters feel chaotic and unfair, which paradoxically increased fear because it mirrored the narrative idea that the night guard is powerless, stuck in a system he doesn't fully understand. And what's fascinating is how the community embraced these flaws, turning forum posts and video breakdowns into collaborative storytelling, where each glitch was catalogued, analyzed, and woven into a larger mythos, transforming technical limitations into narrative fuel. Because when a game about haunted machines starts behaving like it's haunted by its own code, the line between fiction and reality begins to blur. And that's where FNAF's atmosphere truly thrives, not in clean execution, but in digital decay. So the question becomes unavoidable. Were these glitches truly accidental, or did they become something greater simply because of how perfectly they aligned with the story's themes? Because even if the developers never intended for a flickering frame or broken sound file to mean anything, the emotional impact was real, and horror doesn't require intention to be effective. It requires interpretation. And Five Nights at Freddy's is a perfect example of how modern horror evolves beyond the creator's control, shaped by player experience, community theory, and the unpredictable nature of digital systems. And when you replay the games with this perspective, every anomaly feels deliberate, every mistake feels meaningful, and every moment of instability reinforces the idea that Freddy Fazbear's Pizza is not just haunted by ghosts, but by corrupted memory, unfinished business, and systems that were never meant to hold what was put inside them. And maybe that's the true genius of FNAF. Not that it hides secrets well, but that it allows imperfection to become part of the fear, turning glitches into ghosts, and bugs into lore, leaving us with one final thought. If a game's errors can feel this alive, this intentional, and this unsettling, what does that say about how deeply horror can embed itself into code? And as you think about that, if you enjoyed this breakdown and want more deep dives into hidden horror, accidental lore, and unsettling game mysteries, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share your own strange experiences in the comments. Because sometimes the scariest stories aren't written on purpose. They emerge when something goes wrong.